versus Vitality, a New York school district directed classes to open each school day by reciting a brief prayer composed by state officials. I'll read that short prayer. Almighty God, we acknowledge our dependence upon Thee, and we beg Thy blessings upon us, our parents, our teachers, and our country. And that was it. Despite that, parents opposed the prayer, even though they could have had their children excused if they so elected. Case went to the Supreme Court of the United States. The prayer was struck down. The Establishment Clause, Justice Black declared, must at least mean that it is no part of the business of government to compose prayers for any group of the American people to recite. He went on. One of the reasons many of the colonists left England was to escape government control over prayer and other religious practices. While most colonies initially preferred the Congregational or Anglican churches, by the time of the Revolution, many had recognized the dangers of enforcing religious uniformity and had granted liberty of conscience. This is the court speaking. History demonstrated that a union of government and religion tends to destroy government and to degrade religion. The lone dissenter, Justice Stewart, argued that the court was denying school children the opportunity to share in the spiritual heritage of the nation. History disclosed, he said, numerous instances of governmental dependence of God. For example, Congress began each session with the prayer. All presidents had invoked God's assistance in their inaugural addresses. And for over 100 years, he noted, the crier of the court had opened its sessions with, God save the United States and this honorable court. A year after Engle, the court confronted the volatile issue of Bible reading in public schools. In Abingdon School District versus Shemp, parents charged state laws requiring Bible reading or recitation of the Lord's Prayer at the beginning of each public school day was incorrect. Under the Pennsylvania law, parents who objected could arrange to have their children excused. But the Shemps, Universalists, testified that they had decided not to use the excusal provision because of fear that their children would be labeled oddballs. With only Justice Stewart dissenting, once again, the Supreme Court struck down the Bible reading laws under the Establishment Clause. Justice Clark, speaking for the majority, stressed that religious freedom is strongly embedded in our public and private life and indispensable in a pluralistic society. But by requiring pupils to participate in Bible reading and prayers, the public schools had impermissibly advanced religion in violation of the First Amendment. Engle and Shemp produced considerable controversy, as you might suspect. There was great debate among politicians, religious leaders, and educators. Former Presidents Hoover and Eisenhower denounced the decision. President Kennedy, who was the president at the time, prompted by the enormous public outcry, urged the American people to obey the court's rulings, even though they might disagree with them. The remedy, he proclaimed, was for families to pray a good deal more at home and to make the true meaning of prayer much more important in the lives of our children.